I bought a Honda snowblower last year, model HS720, and it ran really good last winter. Unfortunately, this winter, it didn't even start. Here's a video of my repair.
Single digit temperatures outside. Now we're like 50 degrees Fahrenheit inside the garage. Looks like in order to get the shroud off, we've got to take this snow chute off as well. And I suspect it needs some kind of lubrication here to help it because it's extremely stiff. I mean, that's the biggest complaint with this model of Honda snowblower is that how hard it is to turn that chute. Stick that in. Very stiff. You know, remove this, I'll be able to grease the ring. Still a 10. Everything on this machine is a 10. Interesting. Marry our nut and our bolt back together so we don't lose them. Jet Lube silicone compound DM grade 3, which basically means it's some really thick silicone grease. So I'm going to squeeze that into the rim here in this ring. Oh, this stuff is very thick. Back on the way it comes off. Pull it out like that. So now we can take this screw here off and that one. We can't remove unless we do something to disconnect this chute lever. Kind of annoying that I can't even rotate the shroud out of the way. Yeah, there's gas. Ah, gas everywhere. Should have done this in the first place. Get a little quick grip here. I'm going to pinch off the fuel line. Super goopy. In fact, I can't even get the needle to fall out, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in our ultrasonic cleaner here. Make sure all the pieces are dry. Now we're going to try to put it all back together. Usually where it always ends up failing is this guy, this main jet. Just seat it back in there. Next thing we do is we slide this little guy here, this little slides into. So then, there we go. Finally, I got the carburetor all back together. I was so focused on getting the carburetor back on in the right order, I didn't realize that once I got the carburetor on, I can't tilt the shroud back down without trying to maybe bend this plastic or something, which I don't want to do. I ended up taking the whole carburetor off again, and then I rotated this black housing back into place, and that's when it got interesting. Trying to get that carburetor back installed with this while fighting this housing. So shame on Honda for this design. You probably could get this housing off if you take this off, but to take this off, you probably have to take off the handlebar here. So that was quite difficult. I probably would have just been better off if I just cut a little slit here. But really, Honda should have done something like that so that this housing could be taken off relatively easily, and then you'd have access to that carburetor. Well, here's the moment of truth. Okay, so we put the fuel to on, key to on, choke on, and burn like a little kid. Wait for the morning. Later.
This problem is more common than ever nowadays because of the added ethanol in fuels. Apparently, the ethanol causes corrosion and dramatically increases the chances for clogging of the carburetor.